She wasn't robbed, she wasn't attacked, she wasn't flashing cash, jewelry or anything that obviously made her a target. She was an 80-year-old woman trying to use a handrail at a London train station.
Fine.
I'm here relaxing. You can go around.
I can't.
You can, you got legs.
I'm 80.
And somehow that became a moment someone chose to film. Welcome back to Charlie Survival. You've probably already seen the video, and if you care about protecting elderly people in modern Britain, subscribe to the channel and leave a comment below telling me what you would do if this was your mum, your nan, or an elderly person in front of you on the stairs. Because this video is not about one staircase, it's about how elderly people can stay safe in public, how families can help them prepare, and how bystanders can step in without making the situation worse. The part that stood out to me was him repeatedly saying, "I'm recording."
Hey, you know, I'm recording you. I'm recording you. I'm recording.
That sentence does not calm the situation down, it does the opposite. It reminds the person they are now being watched, judged and potentially uploaded. Whether that was his intention or not, the effect is still the same. The phone becomes part of that pressure, and this is the modern lesson. Sometimes the risk is not someone trying to steal your wallet. Sometimes the risk is someone trying to steal your reaction.
Hey, you know, I'm recording you. Don't touch me. I'm recording you.
I don't give a damn what you're doing. You're extremely rude and arrogant.
One more thing worth saying here, because it's easy to get this wrong. This is not about blaming the woman for what she wore, where she stood, or how she reacted. A bright pink t-shirt is not an invitation to be harassed. Holding a phone is not an excuse for someone to block you. But there is still a practical lesson. In crowded places, if older, try to be low drama, low target, and hard to provoke. Keep valuables tucked away where you're not using them. Avoid long eye contact with people who seem to be baiting strangers. Move with purpose, stay near normal groups, and trust your gut. Grey man does not mean looking scared, it means not becoming easy money, easy conflict, or easy content. That is what elderly people, families, and bystanders need to understand. Some people are not looking for money, they are looking for drama, they want confusion, they want anger, they want the moments where someone raises their voice, waves their hands, or becomes distressed, because then the clip becomes more interesting. So the first rule is simple: do not feed the clip. If someone is blocking you, filming you, laughing at you, or trying to wind you up in public, your goal is not to win the argument. Your goal is to stay safe, stay calm, keep your dignity, and get help. That is easier said than done. When someone is rude to you in public, especially when you're older, your natural reaction is to explain yourself. You want to say, "I am 80, you want to say, "I need the handrail," you want to say, "Why are you doing this?" All of that is understandable, but to someone who wants a reaction, long explanations can become fuel. Use one calm sentence instead. "I need this handrail, please move." If they do not move, say it once more, clearly enough for others to hear. Then stop debating, do not answer every comment, do not get dragged into a back and forth. Look around and bring other people into the real issue. Say, "Can someone help me get past, please?" That sentence matters because it changes the scene. You're no longer performing for the person filming, you're asking normal people around you to return the situation to basic decency. The second rule is become public early. Many people in Britain, especially the elderly, were raised to be polite, quiet, and not to make fuss. That is admirable in normal life, but it can work against you when someone is being deliberately awkward. Quiet politeness can leave you isolated. The third rule is protect your balance from your pride. For an elderly person, the biggest danger on a staircase may not be the insult, it may be the fall. A slip, a shove, or losing balance can change someone's life. So the aim is not to prove a point, the aim is to stay upright, keep hold of the rail, and create space. If the situation feels unsafe, step back if you can. Let the flow of people change. Wait for staff, ask for a couple, a family, or another person to walk with you. You can simply say, "Would you mind walking with me? I do not feel safe." That is not weakness, that is good situational awareness. And if you are a bystander, your role is not to become the hero of the video. Your role is to interrupt the performance. You do not need to square up to anyone, you do not need to threaten them, you do not need to become the next clip. Just create calm social pressure. Say something like, "Mate, let her through, she needs the handrail, move aside." There is no need for that. Then turn your attention to the elderly person. Are you alright? Do you want me to walk with you? That is important. If you focus only on the person filming, you may give them the conflict they want. If you focus on helping the elderly person, you take control of the scene in a useful way. At this point, I want to make this practical. I put together a Charlie Survival Amazon kit list with small sensible items that can help normal families and elderly relatives: personal alarms, power banks, small torches, basic first aid and everyday preparedness items. I will also leave my free blackout checklist linked in the pinned comments. That is the easiest place to start if you want a simple home preparedness list. And if you do want the full UK specific step-by-step system, my paid course, the UK Crisis Readiness System, goes much deeper. The feedback I'm getting has been very positive and it's helping people build a calm plan for blackouts, shortages, civil disruption and everyday emergencies. There's only a couple days left on the half price sale, so grab it now if you've been thinking about it. But kit is only part of this. Behaviour matters more. If this happens on the railway, get staff involved where possible. British Transport Police have the 61016 text service for non-emergency incidents on the rail network. And if someone is in immediate danger, call 999. The point is not to be dramatic. The point is to report problems early before they escalate. Families also need to think ahead. If you have elderly parents, grandparents, neighbours or relatives, sit down with them and make a simple travel safety plan. Make sure their phone is charged before they leave. Set up emergency contacts, show them how to share their live location. Add a small power bank if they travel for long days. Help them plan routes for fewer stairs, fewer changes and less walking where possible. And talk to them about the contents trap. Tell them this: if someone films you and tries to wind you up, you do not owe them a performance. That line matters. You do not owe them a performance. Do not dance for their algorithm. Do not give them the angry clip. Do not let a stranger with a phone control your emotions. Be calm, be firm, get help, leave safely, report it afterwards. Now, some people will ask whether elderly people should get dogs. I understand why. A dog can give companionship, routine, confidence, and sometimes a sense of safety. For the right person, the right dog can be brilliant. But a dog is not a security system. For some elderly people, a dog can become a trip risk, a cost, or a responsibility they cannot manage. So I would never say just get a dog. I would say build the support system first. Neighbours, family, check-ins, safe routes, a charged phone, a personal alarm, confidence to ask for help. Then, if a dog generally suits their life, it can be a wonderful addition. Because this is bigger than one woman on one staircase. Britain has always worked best as a high trust society. You held the door, you said please and thank you, you gave up your seat, you helped someone with bags. You looked after elderly people because one day you hoped someone would do the same for you. Most people still believe in that. I genuinely think most people in Britain, and many of you watching, would move. Most people would have helped. Most people would have looked at that situation and thought, come on, just let her through. But a high trust society only survives if normal people defend it, not with violence, not with panic, not by turning every public space into a battlefield, but by refusing to let cruelty become entertainment. Preparedness is not just tins of food, water filters and power stations. Preparedness is making sure your mum, your dad, your nan, your granddad, or the elderly person down the road can still move through Britain safely and with dignity. Because if we lose that, we've lost more than manners. We've lost part of what made this country feel safe. So let me know in the comments, what would you have done if you saw this happening? Would you step in, get staff, walk with her, or report it afterwards? If you found this useful, hit the like button and subscribe, because this channel is about calm, practical preparedness for normal people living in normal UK homes. The easiest next step is to download my free blackout checklist in the pinned comments. It gives you the basics without panic buying or wasting money. If you want a deeper survival preparedness plan, the UK Crisis Readiness System is there for people who want a complete UK specific system for their home, family and everyday life. And if you want the practical items I recommend, have a look at the Charlie Survival Amazon kit list in the description. Stay calm, stay kind and stay prepared. If you enjoyed this one, click this video next on screen about how the infrastructure in supermarkets are changing, and if you've noticed, click it and I'll see you over there.